Kia ora, my name is Whare Slaisan and welcome to overcame books. But the topic I want to talk about today is plant medicine for the third time. Let's see how we go with this video. Okay, plant medicine. Plant medicine's played a massive part of my life, especially when I was very young. I had an experience where I left my body completely. I went back to source power, source energy. And there's no words in any language I can use to describe the sensation, the feeling, the level of acceptance, which is love, that I felt. All my traumas from my childhood, all my wounding, nothing mattered. Everything about my egotistical evaluation of what my life was like at the time dissolved into an ocean of love. I can't put that into words. And I had taken at that time what is called by Terence McKenna a heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms. And I consider plant medicine to be, for me, is the sacred plants that the people of traditional cultures have used for thousands, hundreds of thousands of generations as a means to alter their consciousness, to connect with all that is, and to cross into other dimensions, speak to beings that we don't perceive with our five senses. Now, in my books that I've written with Pablo Wairua, The Light Guides the Way, there are two instances in there of plant medicine being used. One of those instances is a person that is an alcoholic, violent alcoholic, who realizes he has an issue, and then goes to a clinic off the coast of Spain, in the Canary Islands, and there he does ibogaine, and comes to terms with his addiction, comes to terms with his ancestral wounding, and heals through this process of the use of the plant medicine. And then last night, when I got home, I was looking through news websites that I usually look at for information for my blogs. And I went to a website that I haven't been to for over a year. The first thing I saw on that page was Iboga, curing addiction. It was a sign for me. It was a clear sign that I needed to talk about Iboga today, especially Iboga in regards to curing addictions for alcoholism and heroin as well, heroin addictions. Iboga is an African root, and the spirit of Iboga is, from what I understand of people who have taken it, can be quite terrifying if you have a strong egotistical bent, I guess you could say, or your strong ego, because it completely dissolves the ego and you often confront your ancestors, well, your ancestors confront you, I should say. And it can be quite revealing, but also very intense. But in that short story, that character comes to terms with his own ancestral wounding and his ancestors, and also the spirit of Iboga. It makes it clear to him that he has to heal, or else. Also, in The Eyes of Love See All, I talk about the use of plant medicine when someone who's an astronomer working at SETI, search for an extraterrestrial intelligence, picks up a radio frequency and interprets that frequency and hears basically in his own mind telepathically that he has to go outside. He should go outside and take a certain mushroom growing around the observatory where he's working. He does that, and what happens is that he alters his consciousness and then meets up with a member of his own galactic family through the use of the plant medicine. For me personally, plant medicine last year played a massive part in my life to alleviate my moods. When this health crisis hit this country in 2020, the sense of isolation that I felt personally was enormous. And I had a very small bubble with people that I hardly knew. Most of my friends were terrified out of their wits and didn't want to hang out with me or spend time with me. They were terrified of catching this magic virus. So I was alone. I had one person in my life, Holly Hamilton, who was massive in regards to her courage and her love and acceptance of who I was, and her time that she spent with me was precious. I really enjoyed the time I had with her last year during our 4-week lockdown, even though it was only brief. But she was an angel to me in that time, and I really, really appreciate what she helped me through. But after our lockdown lifted, I still felt this sense of isolation. I felt this uncertainty about my own personal moods, and I was triggered in many ways, and I felt quite disconnected. I felt quite alone still. Even though I could meet up with people again, we could spend time together, I still felt quite alone, and my mood began to slump a bit, and I began to feel very, not depressed, but disconnected. Now, in this country, there's a little psychedelic truffle called wiriroa, psilocybe wiriroa. And somewhere in this forest, not here, but somewhere in this forest region, I've picked them last year quite a lot. And they helped me, the plant medicine, through my own intention and through my own mechanisms of how I chose to ritualistically take this medicine, alleviated my mood, made me feel connected to nature in a way that I haven't for many, many years, opened up my heart, gave me great insights and humour and laughter. I mean, I spent many nights in the late winter and the early spring last year down at the beach at Lyle Bay or walking through the forest, just sitting down, feeling the connection to nature and full of laughter about certain situations and experiences that I had in that time. Just really fun, connective, light and heartwarming experiences, all through intention. I really feel as though with plant medicine there has to be a strong intention to connect and to be open in regards to your heart, and also ask for protection as well. In my books, that's really important as well. The stories about plant medicine use, there is a very strong narrative of use of protection in regards to utilizing plant medicines through intention. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Mā te wā.